Lost is on.
Welcome back to Off Slate Thursday. This is Bite Size Media, a subsidiary of Off Slate Media. Today we're watching Lost, and we're watching episode 10 of season 1.
Because why are we watching Lost?
Isn't Lost good?
We think.
Yeah.
There you go. Episode 10, yes.
This is about mid-season. Was this before mid-season finale?
Yeah, we've mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that kind of started 2010s.
Sounds about right.
About the time this show was done is when shows started to do that stupid mid-season.
That's because this started kind of the cliffhanger formula.
I don't know if this
in this way.
I don't even know about that. I feel like shows had done that for a while because that's how you come back the next week. They have to do cliffhangers. Like you just that's what I don't. We've talked about that too on while we've watched Lost. Is like how much I hate when things get repetitive and formulaic on TV shows. Cause and you said about Smallville a couple weeks ago. Like the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes are important, and then the 20 or 30 minutes in the middle are kind of pointless. And that's every episode.
It's not every episode. There are little stints of 2 or 3 episode arcs. So you're in season 3 right now, right?
Yeah.
Have you gotten to any of the Lex Goes Crazy stuff?
No, he's still sane right now. Someone just tried to kill him. That doesn't narrow it down.
It is.
Spoilers. I've never seen it.
Season 3 is the best next to season 6. Period.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of monster of the week stuff and for a Superman show. It's very procedural, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but it is garbage.
So you had mentioned, are we at the middle? We got a couple more episodes. There's technically about 25 episodes. We're close to the middle of the season, but this is a Claire flashback episode because Claire is pregnant and. Yeah. I don't remember what she said. How many months along she was in the pilot?
I mean, she's pretty far.
Yeah. She's pretty far, but I don't remember what she said. But
I think it was
8
near
or so.
8.
Yeah,
because she's. I know we're not supposed to future anything, but since it's a Claire episode, I assume this is where the others come for her baby.
In this episode, it feels early for some reason.
I don't
is
know.
there
We've
another
met Ethan
Claire?
now.
Everything else. Everything else is felt really early.
Yeah.
The next Claire episode?
That's right.
Claire episode is in season 2.
That's right. Ethan was giving her prenatal stuff before the others to prepare her to have the baby on the island.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made the baby special, because the baby was born on the island, which was why. Okay, it's all coming. Oh, that's all it took. It's all just.
Yeah.
Yep.
Claire is Australian, right?
Yes.
That's
Claire.
all I remember.
I don't remember anything about her backstory.
Funny enough, I think if there was a list of least favorite characters for your brother, I think she was one of them.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't remember. I just remember him being annoyed at her. I don't remember why. I just remember he was annoyed at her.
Is her
She has some
backstory that she
annoying
goes
moments,
off and marries Rumpelstiltskin?
Ha.
I love that show too. That show's garbage, but I love it too. Once upon a time.
I thought you're making a joke because isn't Rumpelstiltskin gets promised a firstborn child or something?
I don't know.
Huh.
Yes.
Yes. That's
so
kind of funny.
I jumped to that. Well, you were talking about another show, which this is the 5th time you brought up that show on our series. It's just funny. Yeah. It's all connected. Pepe Sylvia.
You mean Charlie Day?
He's on the show.
What?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah, Charlie.
Oh,
His last name's not Day.
I know. It should be. What is Charlie's last name? Do we even know?
Randy Buck.
Thanks.
And there's another thing.
Pace.
Wow.
Pace, Day, same thing.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure his last name was You All.
Everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, because, again, I don't remember Claire's backstory. I bet you within 2 minutes of the first flashback, we'll all go, oh, yeah.
Probably.
I already just
That's
kind of
likely.
did that live
Yeah.
for a different thing, but
Yeah.
anybody else got anything?
Nah.
No? All right. Y'all ready to get lost? Welcome back, everybody. We just watched the 10th episode of Lost, which I am blanking on the name of right
Raised
now.
by another.
Yeah. I need to change my favorite character.
Oh, goodbye, Vincent.
No, not Vincent.
You said to change my favorite character.
It's Claire at the moment.
It's Claire.
I just, watching this, I was like, I just really like this. For a long time, I remember her being the reason that I watched the show.
Because she's pretty.
Because she's pretty. Also, the story is interesting.
That's the most interesting backstory so far, because it's directly connected to what's going on. Other ones are not connected as well, but that's the first one. It's like, oh, that's like directly connected to the line of things that are,
Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but don't we start to see like different ways in which the backstories connect to each other and then to the island?
Yeah. And a lot of TV show tropes, it's like, oh, the flashback always or should always have to do with like one detail of the present. And so far it's been, oh, this is why they're on the flight, or this like Saeed's case, this directly connects to his backstory to connect to Rousseau. But this one is like, oh, there's this weird thing going on with this fortune teller that is directly connecting to these two other storylines of Saeed finding Rousseau and Hurley figuring out that Ethan was not on the plane.
Which,
it's converging very well.
Yeah. I just remember watching it the first time, being so flabbergasted that it was Ethan. And they don't hide it as well as I remember.
No, and if anything, it's only, his second episode?
Yeah, I remember it taking longer, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
that's just kind of the story of this podcast. Didn't this happen, like, way down here? No.
It's a lot faster. It's because we don't remember a lot of important stuff that happens after. He got that manifest pretty easily, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Because what did he say?
Sawyer's starting to soften.
Yeah, he's like, I know usually someone asks you to tell me to screw off. They were screw off. It just proves Hurley. Everyone just likes Hurley.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm changing my favorite character to Hurley to match Aaron. Not to match Aaron, but now I'm matching Aaron because he's just so funny. What does he say? Dude, I know if we were cops, we'd be canvassing right now, knocking on doors and such, but we don't have any doors.
Gosh, that's something you would say.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
He's so funny. And I like the whole, Locke being Locke, and he just goes, hey, I already talked to you, but I just want to get away from him. It's so funny.
It was very funny.
So my favorite character is switched from Sawyer to Clay.
How about you, Aaron?
Sawyer
have any,
to Hurley.
Yeah.
Have anything to change?
I am changing my least favorite character to Thomas.
To Thomas.
Yeah.
Claire's
I don't like that guy.
piece of garbage little baby man-child boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend, sorry.
Well, it's been hard right now. And if it's hard right now, can you just imagine what it's going to be like?
And it's like, well, it's like everything's about, making decisions and going places and the baby. I'm like, that's called being an adult, you idiot. That's called growing up, you ingrate.
But you were supposed to be on the pill.
Yeah, and then he blames her, and it's like, oh no, buddy. Because before I was like, this guy sucks. And then when he said, I go, oh, no, this guy really sucks.
So, as my own anime arc here, I remember when I was 18 thinking that was, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But then, yeah.
I don't remember my response to the scene because I don't remember the scene. I wonder what I would have thought. I bet you 16-year-old me would have just been like, that's not very nice. Not look any deeper than just he's being mean to her. And I don't like that because she doesn't deserve to be mean. And then she starts screaming and I go, make it stop. Make it stop. Because that is when your brother was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It's like, it doesn't make me dislike her as a character. It doesn't make me, like, there's something built into me that when women scream that loud and that high, it just bugs me.
She goes all in on the scream in the show.
She's very good at it.
Yeah.
To pull back the curtain and give it some context here, we're sitting at the bottom of kind of a public basement.
Yeah.
And I had to turn it down when she was screaming for fear that someone might hear it and actually like not know that we're down here and think that someone was actually screaming.
Yeah.
Yep. that was piercing. But very, very good
Not quite a
performance.
Thor scream, but
No, that's not a scream.
it's just guttural noises.
That's the second time I think I've done that on our since we started Lost. And I'll do it again.
I probably made a comparison between Sawyer and Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You mean because they're both blonde and
No, it was
dang hunks?
Yes, but also because it was about his screams a couple episodes ago when they tortured him.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
How did that one sound?
More like a scream,
Like,
like he was getting bamboo shoved up his fingernails.
Ugh. Yeah. Anyway.
All of us do something with our fingers. This is a good episode. This past two have been pretty good episodes.
yeah.
They have.
Like I said, this is the one where like because we're getting towards the middle, some of the gears are starting to turn. It's
Right.
we got some like supernatural stuff happening in the flashback that's connecting. We have some like mystery underneath the big mystery. It's like, there are other people here. Why are they here, and what does this have to do with Claire's baby?
Right.
So that was I'll say it again, that convergence in that scene of like Saeed comes back and says, I found the woman, and he says, we're not alone, and then Hurley's coming up and saying like, dude, there's someone here who's not on the plane, and then we cut back to Ethan confronting Claire and Charlie.
That was kind of funny when they came back from commercial and they show Saeed running through the drum going, you and I look at you, that's weird to put right there.
Because we've seen him this whole episode, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, just that's I'm feeling it right now. I'm like that was just.
I
that's
honestly
just good,
think
that's
that
good
there's
writing.
a lot of really good writing in this show, a lot of good storytelling, at least in this first season so far.
Yeah.
And then we get fish biscuits in season 3.
And rain sex,
Yes.
but we won't tell you who, even though we've already probably mentioned it.
We have
Yep.
mentioned it.
But yeah, good episode. I don't have that much else to say because it's one of those where not a ton happens, but the few things that do happen are very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the most interesting flashback we've had. If we already said that, we're starting to really get into okay, something is up.
It's funny
Something's up.
that none of us remembered anything about this flashback.
I completely
'Cause it
forgot about
sounds
the
very
fortune teller.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't like it's like you look at Charlie's backstory. The only thing I remember is he's in a band, and
Yeah.
he's a drug addict.
There's also
Right.
the idea that like the show does not end up the same way it starts.
No,
Right.
So, like this, what I'm thinking, and we talked about not future casting, for the show during the podcast. What I'm thinking it's about does not end up being what it ultimately is about.
Yeah.
yeah. And then Hurley's just funny. He's a goofy guy.
I mean, he made a golf course last.
He made a
episode.
golf course.
Now he's taking censuses. What's he gonna
Yeah.
do next? Run for president?
I'd vote for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we learned his name.
Hugo.
We learned his name. His name is Reyes, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
almost said Chavez. That's not right.
I almost said weaving, so there you go.
There we go. Hugo Reyes. And then what do you say? My nickname is Hurley. I'm not going to tell you why, though. Okay. Then, you have a problem with Jack knowing everything.
It's just like he's a spinal surgeon. Like he's not gonna know.
Are you a doctor? Are you here to tell us what doctors know?
He's not gonna know. Oh, Claire, are you how are you feeling? Oh, your back hurts. That means you're 2 weeks from giving birth.
Well, he mentioned that number thing too, didn't he? The OB something.
OBGYN?
I don't know.
He's not an OBGYN.
No. No, he mentioned that.
Yeah, that's a different type of doctor.
Oh, is that a gynecologist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, why didn't he just say that?
Was it obstetrics and gynecology?
He should have just said that.
Yeah.
But when he said that, it's like,
Obstetrician.
okay, so he's talking about it, so he knows something.
He knows it's a thing that exists, and again, there is cross knowledge for doctors, and I'm not going to sit here and defend this. And yes, I get he exists to serve the plot to some extent, to most extent, but at the same time, it's like
He does everything. He's a doctor. He knows everything medical.
I guess every show does have to have a character that does everything.
Yeah. He's kind of the medical MacGyver of this show.
It's fair.
He patches things up using what he has around him.
And then Ethan with that stare at the end. No, his mouth's a little more open than it's more like.
It's kind of like a Walter Matthau face, just mugging for the camera. Just, how would Walter Matthau work on this show? Like, I'm just trying to think, what character would he play? He could be Lockwood. I tell you, I didn't find that thing in Australia. It found me. Takes a big chomp out of his cigar.
He wouldn't have any cigars. You couldn't get them.
Oh, he'd have a cigar. I don't want to know where he kept them, but he would have a cigar. It's Walter Matthau. The cigars are just with him. He'd still be betting on horse races, too, on that island.
He'd be setting them up.
Well, that's why he did the Grumpy Old Men movies. He had to pay off gambling debts. Because the man liked gambling.
Are they both? They're both dead now,
Long dead. I think.
Long dead.
Like over 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I could be wrong. I feel like he was late 90s and Jack Lemmon was like early 2000, like a couple years later. Like, I think they were both gone before this show started.
I thought Jack Lemmon survived a bit longer.
It's not important to the show, but I just want to know. Okay, Jack Lemmon died in 2001.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Almost nothing about it.
Do you
2000 and 2001. So they were gone.
Seriously?
Yep.
Wow.
So before the show even started.
Jack Lemmon was in the. Oh, you wouldn't know this. You've not seen the remake of 12 Angry Men.
No. I've seen a lot of Jack Lemmon stuff, though. I love Jack Lemmon.
He's
and Walter Matthau.
He's the
Henry Fonda juror. You're saying, right?
what?
You're saying the Henry Fonda.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Yes,
juror
he's the
number
Henry Fonda juror.
7 or number
Yes.
9. It's one of the two.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, well, I've seen plenty of those too, and they're in 12 movies together or something, 14. Like they're in a lot of movies together. Both of them on the island would have been fun. And he's like, well, why don't you just use that like that? What do you think that is, you ignoramus? That's what their whole interaction would be on that island. Am I wrong?
Oh, I love that movie. I think I like the second one.
Sorry. We were talking about Walter Matthau.
Yeah,
and
you
Jack
were talking
Lemmon.
about golf last episode. I don't feel bad.
You were talking about golf too. We didn't even mention how you almost hit me with the golf ball. I was standing 30 feet away from you, straight away. Yeah. I stood. Here we go, people. You're on the tee. You're facing that way. So for you audio listeners, he's facing toward the hole. I am looking straight at him 30 feet away, and he hits that ball straight at me. It doesn't go forward or backwards. It goes, and it was not in the air. It went straight on the ground, rolled right at me. I look up, and I see Jake just wind up and just chuck his club, walk to the cart, and just drive off. And I was like, Jake, all my clubs are in there. He left me there. I had to pick up his club.
That's why I don't golf anymore. It makes me mad.
That was I don't know about after that, but that might have been your last swing.
Yep.
And that was 8 years ago.
You remember when I was Steve McQueening around the golf course in the golf cart?
He almost did an Andy Bernard into the sand pit.
Yeah.
See, there's something you recognize. That clip still gets me. Just read, just dives headfirst into that sand trap while Jim's trying to close.
Oh man.
And anyway, that's all I have to say about Raised by Another. Thomas sucks. Hurley's funny. Clea is good at screaming and has a very interesting backstory.
And has very blue eyes.
Very blue.
Very blue. Yeah.
And Walter Matthau on that island would have been wonderful.
Would he have been?
We have to go back, Kate. Takes a big puff. Then you put Jack Lemmon in Kate's spot. It's like, what did you just say to me? See?
Anyway, Lost.
Sorry.
Anybody got anything else to say about Raised by Another?
Not anymore. That's all I got.
All right. Well, we'll continue this next week, maybe with a little less or more Walter Matthau. But
You can never have too much.
Until then, Jared, where can they find us?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the Funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our notification bell. Make sure you check us out and rate us on all those apps. And swing by our groovy website.
And with that, I just have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Will Walter Matthau be at all those social spaces?
The what places?
Will Walter Matthau be at all those social spaces?
Yes.
And with that, come on back next week as we continue to get lost.
Smah! Smah!